I'm not an avid Tube Screamer player. I actually don't even own one. This belongs to a friend of mine. I borrowed it for this video because I wanted to compare it to the new Xotic AC Booster V2. Now the AC Booster and the AC Booster V2 are based off of a TS9 circuit, but you can already tell there's some more going on here. The original version I didn't warm up to all that much, but the V2 I thought was interesting because of the boost function, and they give you a bunch of dip switches on the side to further shape the sound. So I thought, okay, let's put these against each other, see if they sound similar, and if the functions in the AC V2 might make it the ultimate Tube Screamer. So I thought we'd start with a little comparison. We'll take the AC V2 and we'll compare that to just a stock Ibanez Tube Screamer, good old green TS9. If you've been playing guitar for a year or 50, you've probably seen a Tube Screamer along the way. Now, I plugged them into this thing called the Switchback from JHS. This is a looper that allows me to not plug one pedal into another. They actually both plug into this box via sends and returns. My guitar plugs in and then the output to the amp, and I can switch from the red side to the green side with this little remote here. Yeah, so AC is red, TS is green. And that is going to a 1967 Fender Princeton Reverb. The speaker output of that goes to a Universal Audio aux box for silent recording and cabinet simulation. And then that goes to my computer out to your ears. The guitar is a Novo Idris Strat style guitar. Nothing to fear here. It's basically just a Strat, so don't let your eyes deceive you. I just like these guitars because they have a neck that I wish Fenders had. It's chunky, it feels old, I like that. So this is the signal without any pedals, just super clean. I'll probably stick to the neck pickup even though it was on the bridge there momentarily. Okay, so let's hear the AC Booster. Now let's go over to the TS9. Obviously super close, and I have them set up in kind of a classic Tube Screamer way. Volume cranked, gain low. Now what I had to do is I had to kind of fuddle with this gain to get it close to that. They're not probably the same pot values, but if we take the AC Booster, we'll go to the bridge pickup, no boost on, no EQ. What's nice about these EQ knobs, not only is it a cool feature for this kind of circuit, they have these little detents in the middle. I love that. So I imagine it's somewhat flat or not boosting or cutting at the detent. Even though this boost knob is lit up, you have to engage it with the switch. It's not on. So here's the AC, TS, so pretty much identical, even though if you take the gain control all the way down, and this one's all the way down, they're not a fair match. So here's the AC. It feels like there's more gain in the lowest gain setting on the TS than on the AC. I actually like on the AC because I can get even less gain, so I can hit my, my Fender type amps that have a scooped mid. It'll bring the mids back a little bit and put some hair on the note. So all you're hearing there is just an increase in gain that's coming from the TS9, and we can match it a little closer. Quite the difference, actually, just in those two potentiometers. That's pretty close right there. And you can see, like, we're just getting started with this kind of pedal. We just got the volume up and the gain down. That's one of many ways to do it. But what I do like is if a Tube Screamer style circuit like this gets a little bright, I can back it off, even though I was on the, it's hard to tell sometimes. I was on the green first, and it'll get darker over here. I like being able to have that adjustment in a Tube Screamer style circuit. Same thing goes for the lows. If you need more or less, you can take them in or out. So pretty close, I will say, but lots of flexibility with the AC booster as well. Let's talk about some of the other functions that are on the side of this pedal with the dip switches and the boost. So the AC booster, it stands up right next to an Ibanez TS9. Kind of figured it would, but I wanted to kind of break it down even further and talk about some of the other features that are in this pedal, like all of the dip switches on the side and the boost, and it just has a lot more going on than your average Tube Screamer. So if you're a fan of this circuit, you might want to take a look at it. Now, there's some things I also don't like about this pedal, and I'm not the biggest Tube Screamer fan in the world anyway, and you'll understand why. So this is basically where we had it when we were doing the comparison. So with the pedal engaged, now if I want, I can kick in the boost function here, which corresponds to this little knob in the middle, and I only have it at about 9 o'clock. So if we do this, it's going to give you even more gain. But can you hear how snappy a Tube Screamer style circuit is? That's where I like to kind of get rid of it with this pedal if I can. Maybe not all the way out, but we'll try to tailor it as much as we can. Take some of that glassiness off the top, which kind of makes me not like Tube Screamers all that much. I can kind of adjust the taste. So yeah, so we have a lot on board regarding our shaping, our tone shaping, but also loads of boost. I mean, we can go crazy. To where it starts to sound fuzzy. Lots of flexibility, and we never even touched the gain control. So we could even do it, kind of reverse here, where we just start to do this a little bit more, see what happens. But I love the classic setting of the volume up because it kind of pushes the amp a little bit more, and I can't Velcro this down right now because I'm going to show you the side here in a minute. So forgive me for it moving around a little bit. It's a day in the life of someone demoing a pedal for you. But yeah, so that's the functionality. Now, the things I don't like right off the bat. This knob is kind of hard to access. I guess if you set it and you forget it, that's cool. And companies continue to squeeze two switches like this on a small enclosure. And when you play live and you're going in the moment to click on one of those switches, it is not uncommon to hit the wrong one, hit them both. Maybe you're trying to turn it on, but you hit the boost instead, or vice versa. It's happened to me plenty of times. And I just wish companies would consider making a box in a little bit larger box if they're going to do this. But I realize that these boxes are cheaper, more readily available. So they're like, hey, we can squeeze it in. Let's do it. It's just a pet peeve. But for the most part, I like the layout of the pedal and the sounds I'm getting. So obviously there's more going on with the AC V2 as opposed to just a standard 3-knob Tube Screamer, because we have the treble and bass controls, we have the boost function, and of course, you can adjust how much of that you want on the front of the pedal. But they give you these little baby dip switches on the side, and man, they are teeny tiny. They're hard to adjust on the fly and play. So what I'm going to do is something different than I normally would do. I'm actually going to play a loop into a looper, have it feed into the pedal, and then what I'll do is throw each individual switch to see if you can hear a little bit of a difference. Now, I want to tell you that the differences are very subtle. The first switch is the compression switch, and it just kind of tightens up the feel of the pedal a little bit. Then there's a modern or classic. We've been in the classic mode, and the modern mode gives you more gain. Then there are 2 mid bumps on there, and what it does is helps you boost frequencies like 500 Hertz and then 2K. I do like that. That's a nice option in a pedal. So I'm going to cut to a different shot here, play the loop, and then I'll try to walk you through the dip switches by way of a pen, because these things are tiny. So there's obviously a lot more going on with the AC V2 than the original version or even a Tube Screamer, and I could get along with this. I don't love the switches so close together. That's one of my big pet peeves in the pedal industry right now, but I get it, and it does add more functionality with the boost control. I could totally get along with this and really tweak that high end like I was doing in the earlier demo. The dip switches are small, they're hard to get to, but it's a set and forget kind of thing, obviously. So, you know, I love taking a pedal for a spin that I haven't played that much or at all. So that's what I thought I'd do in this video. And I want to thank Sweetwater for sponsoring this video. I got this pedal from them and they said, yeah, let's sponsor this video and do a little shootout and a little deep dive into the AC V2. The Tube Screamer is clearly one of the most cloned circuits of all time. Obviously, the AC V2 is a really solid take on it, and there's so many I could never play them all or know them all. So let me know what you like with regard to Tube Screamer type circuits in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And stick around to the channel because there's always something fun that I'm going to demo or teach, and I'll see you next time.